Adam, my friend, you blew my mind today with your expertise in the digital world and your knowledge of Datanomix and Fulcrum. I mean, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And such wisdom at 20 years old is mind-blowing. But our buddy Grady said that you were getting ready to have a meeting with Fulcrum and Datanomix.
Yeah.
So I've kind of invited myself. Is that okay?
No problem.
Yeah, you don't mind?
I don't mind at all.
And this is actually going to be real time. Like I literally invited myself to a meeting where you're learning something today. This is unscripted, raw, authentic, actually what's going on in your
100%.
facility. I can't wait. Let's give these guys a call.
Yeah. How's it going, guys?
Hey, Adam.
Hey.
So
Tony, good to see you.
Yes. Oh, Alex, good seeing you for the first time. Greg, I love you, buddy. You're amazing. I apologize for being here. I don't think I'm supposed to be here, but I wanted to see some of what was going on, the inner workings. So as you can see, now that Adam and I are best friends, I'm sitting in on this because I might have some questions as well. Super curious after the testimonial today. So I'm going to let you guys have at it, but there might be a couple of clips here and there where curiosity takes over and I just have to know more.
I mean, if you're going to show up like this, Tony, we're going to put you on the implementation team. So have at it.
I wouldn't be mad about that.
So I'll share my screen here. So, and this is what we have. So we have two machines hooked up so far to the integration. Me and Dan were playing around, but we have, I think the i200 is kind of the most exciting one that we have, but it's actually pulling the job number and then the required parts for this job, and then the parts that have been counted from Datanomix. And then I can actually click on the cog here and I can see the customer, I can see the target cycle time and the target setup time. And then I can actually see the cutting time on the Datanomix side, and I can see, okay, we on Fulcrum are predicting 18 minutes, but we're actually getting about like 19 minutes, 42 seconds on the Datanomix side. So pretty close, but this is what like the engineering team is doing and what they're looking at to actually fix the numbers in Datanomix and in Fulcrum and actually get like proper times in there for the schedules purposes.
So Adam, that 18 minutes that comes from Fulcrum, that's the planned cutting time, or that's the total like button to button per part?
That's the planned cutting time.
Okay.
I think it's pulling the machine time. Or like sometimes we have labor, sometimes we have machine in there. So I think Dan said it too. If we only have labor, he's pulling that. But if we have machine, I think he's pulling that. But then we have the work order and everything like that in there. And then we can also see the jobs that are scheduled for this machine, which is super cool.
And then that, I'm assuming, is just pulling from the scheduler like queue from Fulcrum?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, and you're able to see this is actually really, I was showing our team this yesterday, because you can actually see like, so the planned start and then like the projected start. And then here you can see like the plan and the projected end. This was actually showing late yesterday by like a couple hours. And then like our project manager went out there and he was like, can you work like 2 extra hours today, like overtime? And then we're back on schedule, which I thought was kind of cool.
That's awesome.
So that's kind of how we're pulling that, and we're able to see, I mean, this was an already started job that's like in WIP. So the UI here is actually really nice, and they have a compact here as well, and we're able to see everything that's scheduled. And then the really interesting thing about this that I don't know if you guys were planning for, but I was talking to Dan about yesterday, is this job history page. And we have on-time delivery for like the company as a whole. It's a metric that we follow extremely closely, but we don't give a lot of our guys on the machines ownership of OTD. It's really like the guys aren't going to have like the want to make machine faster or optimize their cell, because it's like, this is on the company. It's like, oh, this is the company's OTD. It's not my OTD. What I really like about this is I can filter by like a machine. So I can like type in Integrex i200, and I can say, okay, you've been like 100% on time in relation to the Fulcrum schedule. So it's like the Fulcrum schedule is saying, you need to be done with this on June 30th, and you did finish it on June 30th, or you didn't, and then that's a late or that's an on time. So then I can go to the guys on the floor and be like, hey, in comparison to the Fulcrum schedule, you're not hitting the dates that we need to be on time for our customers. And that's a really, really, really powerful tool for us, and we're definitely going to start using it. That's what I'm really excited about.
So that's great. I mean, Adam, I know you are just implementing this and kind of getting it started and getting it going. But yeah, I mean, have there been other things you've seen so far of I don't know, just quick wins from having this data more available and visible to the rest of the team?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely this, and then it was definitely the first thing I talked about the projected end. So we know, because we approve overtime, and overtime has to be spent on actual productive work. So it's really nice to know, okay, if this is going to be behind, that's a really yes, of course you get overtime on this, no problem. Or if someone's like, oh, I don't have to work extra today, or that sort of thing, it just gives a lot more quality of life to our guys on the floor, because there's no more of that you have to rush to get this done, or oh, man, I have to stay until 7 today, or I have to stay until 10, or oh, I have to come in on the weekend. It's like, no, you're fine, and we know this is accurate because it's pulling from the actual cycle times on the machines. So that's a really great partnership, I think, between Fulcrum and Datanomix, because it's Fulcrum has all the info down the pipeline, but Datanomix has the really accurate info in the specific machining operations. So I mean, the quality of life there and the relief of stress, I think is definitely a quick win.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I think you put it well in terms of you're able to make better quality of life decisions. It's not just, oh, we have to work more overtime. It's no, we're actually good. We're on time. We're all right. And actually being proactive about those situations where you maybe aren't.
Yeah.
I used to have to assign people overtime, and it was always a favoritism game, actually, where who I liked best got to work overtime and make more money, and we never knew how much was going to get done or how long they needed to stay, and sometimes they would kind of play their own games. Something, Adam, you brought up to me earlier today that I found fascinating, and it kind of plays into the questions you're asking Alex and mentioning about developing all this, and Greg, you mentioned Datanomix is in the moment happening, is your constant gamification.
Yeah.
Your generation loves to gamify this stuff.
100%.
And you see this screen and go, I can do this and I can do this. And it changes even the algorithm within the company of being able to play this. And something else you brought up to me that I would love for you guys to discuss together is when something is potentially late, which nobody wants to be late, and your ability to utilize Fulcrum, Datanomix, and then your educated version of AI to say, we're going to be late, how can we divide these jobs up amongst the machines that we have in order to create a customer success story and get those jobs out on time?
Yeah.
These combinations of gamification and truly understanding a shop is where you guys can thrive, where I don't see it in other places. And I love the technology coming together like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you guys some background on what we talked about, because I think this is really, really exciting. We have Fulcrum that has the predicted late, taking into account, outside processing, material, all these different things. And then we have Datanomix for, okay, how's it running now? What's the projected end? What are we doing? And then we have this AI that we created in-house that has all of our SOPs and all of our kind of tribal knowledge. And it's giving our guys, we switched really recently to a kind of project manager, operational kind of model, where we have project managers who look at, customers and all their jobs and are kind of responsible for all of those. The buck stops with them. And that can be a really, 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 really stressful job, because if something's going to be late, you're kind of on the cusp for that. Or if something ends up being late and it's for a really important customer, that's a really, really stressful situation to be in. And that solution kind of presented itself. We had all this data and all these different systems, so we wanted to give the guys an ability to ask kind of an advisor of, hey, this is going to be late. What should I do? And it gives them, with all of our SOPs, the tool belt that they need to say, okay, we're going to make the decision to split this operation in Fulcrum. We're going to run it on 2 machines and make this, and what's so great about that is now we can see on all of our dashboards, now that we split that in Fulcrum, it's now going to be on time. And then we look at Datanomix, and now we're like, okay, now it's running right. We have our foremans go and follow up. So the project manager is like, hey, Sean, can you go and check in with the I-200 every day, look at Datanomix, make sure that this is actually going to finish when it's supposed to. If it's not, then we use our next tool belt, OT. And we use all these, and we're turning all of these different dials to make sure we're actually going to be on time. And that's how we've really helped our customer relationships. I mean, we have customers come and tour, and they see how we're kind of plugging in all these different systems. I know when I was talking to you, Tony, how we have these building blocks and we kind of come up with an operational model. We don't, Reata is not just a machine shop that has processes. We build the process around the software. The software's first a lot of the time. You have your process, but you also have your system, and that's what you guys are.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's super smart, like connecting them also through an AI tool to allow the team to just ask questions in natural language. That's, I think, where obviously most of systems are headed anyway. So you guys are already on that trend.
Yeah,
I'm glad you brought up the on-time delivery thing too, Adam, because in a lot of companies you see the on-time delivery numbers on the wall, and then you ask an individual, how do you impact that number? And they say pieces that go into it, right? A material shipment can affect on-time delivery, a machining operation, an outside processing service, a shipping delay. Like, there are so many things that can impact on-time delivery. And so we were trying to, through this collaboration, figure out how can you localize on-time delivery so that people do feel like that number on the wall is actually something that they can, change for the positive. And ultimately, we're all in the business of customer success in our own respective ways. So how do you make, the machinist on the floor feel tethered to your definition of customer success, which is getting that piece of the process done, at high quality, on time, with precision.
Greg,
I appreciate you jumping on that so quickly, Adam, because that's what I dreamed when we put that together, and you nailed it.
Yeah, thank you.
Greg, you bring that up, and I know Datanomix quite well, and I was learning about Adam today and what Reata was doing, and Adam took me onto the shop floor, and he shows me this giant screen, and I'm like, oh, so you can see, what jobs are coming in, if they're going to be late, on time, what they're going to be early. He goes, that's correct, but let me show you what we can really see. And he dives into the whole Fulcrum and Datanomix partnership, and he shows me the material that might not be on time. It's just the details of, and I mean, at the age I'm at right now, if I'm being transparent to everyone, which I always am because I like to make fun of myself, this was all a guessing game when I ran the machine shops that I ran. It really was. They were educated guesses, but they were guesses. They came from years of experience and seeing how things are done, but none of it was documented in this way. And if I was to ever start my own machine shop or ever go back into a machine shop again, I would demand that this technology was there. I don't know how you can run without it these days.
Yeah. If you want to make money, that's for sure. If you're not trying to make money, yeah, you can do it different ways.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're just in this phase of like live data, and it's actually something to be used and take advantage of. And I think, Adam, your guys' shop is one where you definitely see you guys taking that full advantage and using data to make real decisions and not being also scared of it. And yeah, fully like embracing all of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna add on to that a little bit, if that's okay, Alex. And it's gonna be your head's gonna be huge by the time I leave here, Adam, just based on all the compliments I'm gonna give you. But you guys know that I travel a lot. I've probably been into, 1,000 feels like a lot, but it's got to be close around the world. And I do see shops that are implementing this digital technology. But I want to say that Grady, being the brilliant man and the legend in the industry that he is, has kind of turned this all over to a couple generations below him because he sees how easily they adapt and grasp it. When I hear Adam talk about what can be done, what's currently being done, it seems to be, to me, it seems to be something that was already known and now it's being implemented, and he's grateful that it exists more so than how does this work. And there's a lot of times we have to convince people that it works and to adopt it, whereas this is more like, thank you for creating it. I needed it my whole life to make my shop work. And that's where kind of where Adam sits. He's like, this is exactly what we need. I'm happy it's here.
Yeah, I definitely second that in working with you guys. It is definitely a very yeah, you have the expectation that these things are possible. It's less of convincing you that it can be possible. You already know that it is, and you're fully there, like making it work.
And you know, I really appreciate you guys at Fulcrum for diving into this with Datanomix and vice versa. I actually heard something, I think, at one of your guys' events where you told me that you guys had kind of a internal like want to, if the data lives somewhere else, you know, don't create it again. And I mean, that's a lot of the stuff you guys are building. That's what I see a lot with Datanomix is the part counts live on the machines, the time lives on the machine. That should live in Fulcrum as well. There's no need for someone to be inputting that if it's already being captured somewhere. I think this is a really great example of that idea.
100%. Like one of our main missions is like you just said, if the data exists anywhere, regardless of where it is, if it's in a machine, if it's in an email, if it's in a PDF, like we should be able to just ingest that into Fulcrum, and that's sort of our North Star. You shouldn't have to, especially with everything that's advanced in terms of AI and everything else today, like you shouldn't have to data enter all of this stuff everywhere. We should be able to make those connections.
Yeah. And here I thought you were the North Star of Fulcrum there, Alex. Well, I've interrupted this interview enough. I'm going to let you all three get back to business. Adam, you're amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
But I'm a little bit mad that you've lied to me. There's no freaking way you're 20 years old and know all this already. But I'm going to get back to work. Thank you for being here, Greg, Alex. You're both amazing. Adam, thank you for allowing me to interrupt this conversation. You guys get back at it, and I'll see you all again later.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thanks, Tony.